Woo! Howdy. So, I just filmed the whole thing and thought that it was recording, but it was actually taking a picture. We're going to do a quick little tip today that I want to share. Now, I'm doing this little tip. I'm not going to try and overhaul your whole process all at once, especially because then I'd be done with all of my content. Which wouldn't be very smart of me, would it? So I'm going to show you how I get taller walls and how I can utilize all the clay at the very base of your piece. So we're going to open this piece up like normal. Also, somebody asked about flattening, how to make sure that your base is flat in here. And what you can start with, I'll do another video on it, but what you can start with is just kind of taking your sponge and moving it back and forth and kind of putting more pressure on the inside and then less pressure on the outside as you go out. Some people use a rib. I'm not really a rib fan, but that's okay. So after we've got our base like this, normally what I see is people pulling up like this, oh, that's that's their first pull. Well, we don't want to do that. So what we're going to do is, somebody told me this when I was in college, you want to let the clay rotate around for about 8 rotations while you're pressing into the clay and you're creating a divot. Now, you want to put more pressure than you'd think. So I'm putting a fair amount of pressure and I'm letting it rotate around and I'm letting it create this little, almost a thumb catch, right? This divot on the bottom, and that is freeing up all this clay to throw with, okay? And it's taking the clay off the bottom. So I started out with a wider base and then I'm kind of moving inward. So I'm gonna, now that I have that divot, I can use that clay and throw it up. And then, if we want to do it again, which we do because we want a second pull, we're going to do it again. We're going to push that all the way in. See how much clay is pushed in? Like, it's pretty aggressive, and it even has like a little bump on the inside. And then I'm going to take that, and I can use that into my second pull. And what that's doing is that is moving all of that clay that you would normally have on the bottom that people don't utilize on the bottom. It's taking all of that and pushing it up. And, that way you can, that is the first step to not having to trim if you don't want to trim. So let's stop it. And so this is how I'd normally kind of take off a little bit of clay. Let's stop it. And I don't really care about the wall thickness, but I want you to see the bottom and how much clay is at the bottom versus how much clay is at the top. You'll learn this about me, but I'm not really a huge fan of even walls all the way up. I'm a huge fan of having a little thicker base because it makes the cup way more at the bottom. So as we can see, we've got a little thicker base and we've got a lot less clay right here than we would have. We didn't trim it really well, and we also didn't make anything significant, but you can see it's I don't know if I can get this off. Whew. You can see it is I can work with that. That's fine for me. Nobody's gonna look inside the bot, nobody's gonna break it open unless I do break it open, but even then it's not even an issue. So that's like a fine thickness for me, and you wouldn't have to trim almost anything off if you didn't want to. You could, of course, if you wanted to, but you don't have to. So that's my trick for today. Just make sure you're getting that clay off the base and use your middle finger or your thumb to do it. So, or whatever you're throwing with, if you're throwing with your knuckle somehow, use your knuckle because then you can move right into throwing. So, okay, good. Peace out.